And this involves appeals and the Board of Equalization. The Board of Equalization is where you go if you want to appeal what the assessor has appraised you at. Okay. It's a three-step process in the appeals. Number one, you call in, you talk to them about, it's it's called informal. And I really don't have a definition as far as what our current assessor is doing, how he does that, what is actually an informal appeal. That'd be the first thing that I will do. I want to make sure that the appeals process is posted on our website with good definitions and descriptions. By the way, after I posted that on my website, we enjoyed a few weeks of that on the website. The current assessor went in there and took my advice, but it's been taken back down since it was pointed out that I had kind of asked for that. So we're back to kind of square one again. So that'd be the first thing I do, go in there and make sure everybody understands the appeals process and what is it comprised of. And I would standardize with the staff so they can handle some of those phone calls. The assessors should be available, but we've got good staff over there. I know them, and they can handle a lot of that. So once it leaves the informal appeal, the property owner can go to the Board of Equalization. And you come in there, and you're facing two of the county commissioners. And as of last December, October, we're not sure. We can't figure this out. We can't find the information. There are also now two citizens that are serving on that board. At least now the assessor doesn't get to vote. Before these changes took effect, the assessor was actually in there voting for himself. But my feeling is this: an appeals process means you should go before unbiased people. And I have a feeling the county commissioners, let's get real. Number one, they're not experienced in appraising property. They're not real estate market professionals or personal property experts. They have a lot to do. So let's relieve them of that. Besides that, let's just take that pressure. Let's take that any perception of bias on their part when you go in there. And I would want to see, as state law allows, to put 3 citizens on that board. Of course, they should be experienced in real estate market. They should somebody like a lender, even maybe an appraiser, real estate professionals. We have a lot here in Boone County, and we have a lot of people that are really ready to volunteer. We could just put it out there and interview people and say, hey, let's see what you bring to this. And the assessor, and then I also think that puts the assessor being reviewed. I mean, if the assessor goes in there, she should be open to review by those 3 unbiased citizens. That's a peer group, I think, for any property owner. Now, my opponent and one of the county commissioners has said they're operating under state law at this point. Yes, they are. But there is the second option. As a first-class county, we could choose the option of citizen board members. And I would encourage the commission to look at that, and I'd like to open that avenue to the voters here in Boone County. And let's see what they have to say about that. Then the next step is to go to state with state appeals. Now, in the recent past, my opponent has dealt with 3 high-profile cases, which involved, the most recent was 3M, which was a real hit because now we all know too that they've had cutbacks, and we've lost, a lot of people have lost their jobs because of that cutback. When I looked at that appeal and followed it also in the newspaper, what concerned me a lot is that 3M went to the table with the assessor and tried to work out a settlement. Now, my opponent's going to say, well, they gave me the wrong information to begin with. Well, I want to assure the current assessor that I talked to other assessors in surrounding counties. They were dealing with this too. There was a little loophole about reporting your personal property the way you reported it to your shareholders. Well, guess what? State law at that time did not make them do that. They had an accountant that realized this, and it wasn't just 3M. There were several companies that did challenge this in Missouri during that time. But I will say this, if a company had come to the table with me and offered to settle, I would have taken a really hard look at that, because in the end, it cost us money, it cost them money. We got to state, and we got even less than what they would have settled with us. So it did cost us a lot. And then what also cost us was the assessor took a personal hit at 3M by calling them bad corporate citizens just because they took and exercised their right to appeal. That shouldn't be the way it is. And when you go back to the incident where the couple appealed their property on the historic, the one I had talked about earlier, over the certificate of value, they were very much discouraged from proceeding with appeals. And we can't have that. That is our right, to go up and say, hey, I think this is wrong. And you shouldn't have anybody putting any pressure on you, whether it's said or just imparted to somebody. That's not right. So that takes, I think if we would address this Board of Appeals, that would help a lot, and educate people about what is the appeals process. What should you have with you? And the time frame. It's a pretty tight time frame to appeal too. So we need to get that information out there to people. I would say during this campaign, I bet you the assessor's website has had more hits than it's had in quite a few years. As a city official down in Ashland, we use it a lot. When I've got something coming up before me and on planning and zoning, we think it's great. So I don't want people to think I'm not for progressive technology. I am. But if it's there, let's use it to help the people, not just use it to raise their taxes, such as we did on the vehicle, the VIN system. So let's just make sure we're using it for the good of the people.